I'm Katie Wethman, and one of the frequently asked questions we get when buyers are starting their search is, what about off-market inventory? Where do I find that? How do I get plugged in? Well, there are a couple of channels that we can share with you. So the most important thing is actually to be set up on a search directly in the MLS, and only an agent can do that for you. There's a separate category of coming soon, and as of right now, that category is not available on any public site. So it doesn't get pushed out to Redfin or longandfoster.com or realtor.com or any of those other ones. You have to have a search directly from the MLS, and an agent on our team can set that up for you. So that's the biggest category. If you're working with a top agent team like ours, they're usually part of a private networking group. So we're part of one that's open only to the top 10% of agents in the DC metro area, and those agents can share amongst each other what inventory they have coming. So we can put out posts and messages, and it works like a giant match.com database where we put in what you're looking for, listing agents put in what they have off market, and we will each get an email if there's a match. So that's another category if you're working with a big team. There's also a category if you're working with an agent in a big office, and that's called an office exclusive. So some of the rules around coming soons are pretty restrictive, but one opportunity is that you can always advertise a listing to your own office. So in a big office like ours with over 400 agents, and we're one of the biggest offices across all of Northern Virginia, we usually have a pretty big pipeline of coming soons in our office that we can research for you. And then the last category is a little bit more manual. It's a little bit trickier to pull off, but it is something we've had success with in the past. And that is a specific campaign when you're looking in a specific neighborhood for a specific floor plan or in a specific condo building. We can research the tax records, identify units that meet your criteria. Sometimes we'll filter it by how long the owner has lived there or when it was last sold, but we can do either a door knocking, door hanger, or mail campaign specifically to those owners to ask if they're thinking about selling. So you might have gotten some letters like this yourself that said, I have a buyer that wants to buy your house. And a lot of times they don't really have a buyer, but in this case we would. So we can be specific about what you're looking for. And that sometimes gets a response out of a seller that maybe was thinking of selling in the next 6 months or so, but might not be quite ready. So we have occasionally had success with those sorts of campaigns in the past too. So it really just depends on how specific your search is in those cases. So those are some of the categories that we work with to find off market, and then we have a few other tricks up our sleeves as well. So just talk about that with your agent.